Hello, everybody. There's a couple things I've been thinking about lately, and looking at, things happening in our country and around the world, and also looking back at, I guess, history and, as long as people have been living here and things like that. But the thing I've been thinking about is that, or I'm coming to believe, is that it seems like most people, or at least many people, seem to prefer order over freedom. And I think it's an important question to ask ourselves is, do we as individuals, do you prefer order or freedom? Now, if you think about it, they're really at kind of opposite ends of the spectrum. The more order you have, the less freedom you have, and then vice versa. The more freedom you have, the less order. Um, if you look back at history, you think about empires like Rome and Britain. What did they really offer? They didn't offer any freedom. There was pretty much zero freedom. But what they brought is order and security. And you could use those in this context. You could use those two words interchangeably. And that's really the big thing. If you look at any dictatorship, kings, nobles, whatever, throughout history, the government of people, freedom was almost non-existent. Really, up until you find the founding of America is the first time that you have a government built upon the idea of individual freedom. Pretty much all governments prior to that time and since that time, including our own, is more built upon the idea of security and order. And is it? I guess if you look at, why were those empires able to thrive and basically take over the entire world for such a long period of time? And it's because I believe that most people preferred the order and the security that they brought rather than dealing with that constant unknown of being free. Freedom implies risk. It means it's unknown. The more order and the more you can do away with the unknown, the less freedom that you actually have. There's that saying, better the devil you know than the one that you don't. And I think most people tend to agree with that. And that's really kind of that idea of order or freedom. People would rather accept the order as it is, even if it involves some bad things, than face the unknown of freedom. It's amazing the hardships and injustice and atrocities that humans will actually put up with in the name of order. You look at Germany under the Nazis. Why did the Germans accept Hitler? Why, in the beginning, they wanted Hitler. It wasn't like a coup d'etat that Hitler took over and then forced everybody to like him. He was extremely popular. And it's because of the order that he brought back to their society after the chaos of, at the end of World War I, the fall of the previous order. He brought back order and some consistency to their life, and that's what they liked about it. The dangerous thing is that people will, as long as the bad things aren't happening to them, they will turn a blind eye to the worst atrocities that have ever been witnessed throughout the world. When I was stationed in Germany in the military, I met a guy, he was about my age, and he told me that his mother was from the village of Dachau. You're probably familiar with that, very infamous concentration camp there just outside that village. And he told me that nothing happened there. That's all propaganda from the Allies. That nothing happened there because his mother lived there and during World War II and had told him nothing happened there. And I really believe that a lot of people, they did believe that nothing really was happening because it wasn't happening to them. And as long as it wasn't happening to them, they were willing to put up with, what Hitler and the Nazis were doing because they had order and security in their life. And that's the dangerous thing. I think it's the dangerous thing that we face now. If we look at definitely people in America today are much more interested in order and security than they are in freedom. You can look at how our response to COVID, everyone's, wanting the government to solve the problems. And when you have that mentality, when you look to government to be basically the sole source of solutions and solving problems, then that's really what you're asking for. Is you're asking for complete order and no freedom. And I think that's the dangerous place that we find ourselves in now, is that people would much more prefer the order and security from government than freedom. If you think about it, the number one expectation people have of government is order and security. We like to say that it's freedom. Most people in America don't understand their freedom doesn't come from the government. It's not something that the government gives us. It's something that we have. It's unalienable. It's given to us as we're entitled to as humans. We believe our government is established to protect those rights to freedom, but we've really reversed it and have the cart before the horse nowadays, in that we've traded our freedom away for security and order. And I think most of us are familiar with the quote from Benjamin Franklin. And exactly what he said was, "Those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety." And I think to build upon that, what he's saying is that when you give up your liberty for safety or for order, then in the end, you'll end up with neither one. Because once you turn your freedom over to somebody else to solve your problems and establish complete order in your life, or the world that you live in, the society you live in, then you no longer have control, and they have all of the control. And all you have to do is look through history to see what people do when they have absolute power and control. And so I think it's a time that we have to look at ourselves, and it's probably too late. Maybe that's pessimistic, but I think we probably are past the point of doing too much about it. But I do think it's a good question to ask ourselves as individuals is, do you prefer freedom or order? And if you have to choose between the two, which one are you going to choose?